active adult as a care type is not that old, right? It's maybe 10, 12, 14 years old, really. There's only about 100 active adult properties nationwide. And so when you think of the continuum of senior living, it's a relatively small percentage of what's out there. But when you think of managing healthcare costs and providing seniors with an affordable option to house themselves post single family homes, active adult has to be the way of the future. And so if you layer in, I think, a healthcare and a well care component, people could live in active adult a lot longer. So Viva Bene is intended to be a brand new concept in the continuum of active adult. You know, when you think of seniors housing as a whole continuum, there's a lot of different care types and models, and active adult is really that entry level. You know, there's no care provided. People are truly living independent lives in their own apartment. They're creating relationships, and there's a social component to living an active adult. At Viva Bene, we look to take that one step further with a wellness component. So now you have the ability to still live that active life with similarly aged and like-minded folks. You create that social environment, but you're layering in wellness and a little bit of healthcare into it. So, but we're doing that by including a clinic in our communities that offer the ability for residents. They don't have to, but they can choose primary care and urgent care services there, and care coordination management, essentially. The statistic is, I believe, adults over 65 have an average of 3 chronic conditions that they're managing. Part of that management can be handled by our healthcare team, and that can be a real relief for people. Sometimes it's really hard to manage your specialists, your medications, your appointments, et cetera. And so even someone who feels like they've got it under control may find relief in that type of service. We believe that there is an opportunity through Viva Bene to live healthier lives longer as people age. Personally, I think the idea of aging in place is under actually executed. You know, people talk about that, but what does that really mean? And how are you staying independent and living your life independently longer? If you're not proactively managing your healthcare, it's really just a hope and a prayer, you know, like hopefully I can stay on my own. I think Viva Bene takes a more active role in that wellness component. We have interested parties that are coming from single family housing, which we expected, and also coming from multifamily housing, which I think was, I don't know that it was a terrible surprise, but I think maybe the quantities, we thought the majority would be coming from single family housing. And a lot of these adults have already made the decision to downsize, to live outside of a single family home without the garden and the snow shoveling and, you know, and essentially the maintenance of a home. The draw for them, or the attraction, then will be living in a multifamily environment that doesn't have teenagers or crying babies, or, you know what I mean? Like kids in the pool. Like it's really surrounded by people who are there for the same type of lifestyle that they are. The other piece we've noticed is that several of the people who have made inquiries with us already are still working. They're either still in their main career, or they retired from their main career and have embarked on a secondary career or a secondary workforce situation. And so there's, you know, active income, but there's also, you know, that desire and that willingness to maintain that role, I guess, as a worker. I like to think of my parents, right? My parents are 73 years old. They do still live in a single family home, the house I grew up in, but they are more active, more engaged, and just go everywhere, do everything than they've ever been. Those activities drive their health and drive their ability to keep going, between volunteering, seeing their grandkids and their kids, and seeing their friends and getting together with their friends, whether it's going out for dinner, playing cards, whatever they're going to do. There's a big, huge social component. And this is post-retirement for them. My dad's been officially retired for 18 years. he's had an entirely different life post-retirement. He truly has restarted. And some of that does include working in a different and new field. My mom has ramped up her volunteerism. That was her restart in life, right? And so when I think about my parents as being, I think, relatively typical potentially in terms of what we're looking for, I think of all those components: social, intellectual, emotional, and then also, of course, physical and healthcare driven. And they're the type of people that I think Viva Bene could really support. We want to support active adults in all facets of their life, including working and active adults who may not be ready to retire. We want them to restart. We want them to be reinvigorated. We want them to find renewal through Viva Bene in their life and have Viva Bene as a brand and as a building support their goals.